Hello, CS 501 classmates. My name is Ryan J. Skelly. It is week 11, and I will be presenting to you guys today about the ethics of artificial intelligence, or AI. To quickly give you all a run-through of the topics we will be covering in the slideshow, I will first start off with discussing the who, what, when, where, and why of AI. After that, we will look at the ethical issues spawned from it. Afterwards, I will show you guys the different types or levels of AI. Then we'll look at the ethical theories that relate to AI. As well, I will give you solutions to both improve or enhance the current state of AI and to stop the proposed intelligence singularity. My final main slide will give you all a short synopsis of the main takeaways or themes of the slideshow. Artificial intelligence is a really hard term to define, but in most cases, the generalized definition of artificial intelligence is machines that mimic cognitive functions such as problem solving or learning. This is relating purely to the software, but it also involves what device or machine is hosting the software. Artificial intelligence currently has a vast reach of uses, spanning from showing you search results on Google to better managing your eating and sleeping schedule. And because of its vast reach of uses, it also has a wide span of users because automation benefits the majority of service jobs, and AI is always going to be more cost effective than hiring a person to do the same job. Artificial intelligence has existed since the 1950s and is already in a wide range of occupational settings, which leaves it very little room to differ from its pre-existing counterparts. But as I will show you later on in the slideshow, in many cases, we are replacing ourselves, so in essence, we are the existing technology. Artificial intelligence is a force for good, but it also has quite a few ethical issues. The main being its stealing of people's jobs. Many have compared it to the disruption faced by farmers during the Industrial Revolution, but at a grander scale. Many mediary tasks will be taken by artificial intelligence because paying a human to do the same work would be redundant. An even more scary ethical dilemma brought up by artificial intelligence is the technological singularity, or when technology no longer needs human interaction for improvement, which in many cases spells doom for humanity. Science fiction fantasies depict humans designing artificial intelligence to help stop global warming or civil strife, but the AI concludes rather, that the only fix is to wipe the entire human race out. Researchers have argued that by the way of an intelligence explosion, a self-replicating AI could become vastly more powerful and overpower the control of human beings. Many skeptics believe we will become extinct far before the singularity happens. However, general AI is knocking on our doorstep. There is also a chance that once the intelligence explosion happens, we will have full control over the AI, or we may have even integrated with it, for example, in the case of neural chip implants. To go back to the topic of job stealing, there is also the ethical issue of what jobs should or shouldn't be allowed for an AI to assume. Because oftentimes in occupations that deal with sensitivity or respect, like a therapist or a police officer would, an AI wouldn't be able to properly gauge or adapt to its dynamic environment because it lacks the creativity or the improvement that a human being would. The first type of AI we will look at is called weak or narrow AI. These types of AI are designed to fit a specific task and only that task, like a one-trick pony would. Narrow or weak AI systems do not have general intelligence. They have specific intelligence, meaning they can't take the knowledge gained from one experience and use it elsewhere. Weak AI is used to help turn large amounts of data into usable information by giving inferences and detecting patterns. Notable narrow AI that exists today would be things like Google Search, Siri, Alexa, Watson, certain types of facial recognition software, and even autonomous drones. Although it is called the weak artificial intelligence, it has the capability to far exceed the human's capacity to do the same. So compared to us, it has the propensity to be smarter, faster, and stronger. The second type of AI we will look at is called strong or generalized AI. This type of artificial intelligence is compared to a human-level intelligence and features more abstract thinking. Strong AI is the theoretical next step for artificial intelligence, and it also raises people's fear of losing their jobs to machines. There are currently no existing forms of artificial intelligence, and some experts say that it may not be developed for decades, if not centuries, if not at all. Philosophers argue that a machine with artificial general intelligence should be able to go through the same development process as a human would, starting with an infant-like mind and then through exterior interaction become almost adult or mature in nature, being able to have common sense and some sort of language developed. Where weak AI can simulate human cognition, strong AI would be able to replicate human cognition or should be indistinguishable from humans' own thought processes. The final type of AI I will cover is called artificial superintelligence. This form of AI is almost incomprehensible and is more of a philosophical idea. The claim is if an AI can achieve equivalence to human intelligence at a task like a narrow AI would, that it can extend to surpass human intelligence as a general AI would, and that it can be further amplified to completely dominate humans across all given tasks. Superintelligence is the hypothetical final stage of AI. The defining characteristic that makes superintelligence unique from the other forms of artificial intelligence is that it is required to have some sort of evolutionary algorithm, meaning it has to be able to recursively self-improve on its own. Once strong AI has been achieved, it is theorized to be followed by an intelligence explosion, which would seemingly instantaneously create superintelligence. The first strong AI will be able to accelerate its self-improving nature fast enough that it would be able to break the laws of physics because of the enormous amounts of qualitative change that would happen in such a short span of time. Meaning that the first superintelligence wouldn't be created by a human, it would be created by another artificial intelligence. While this is hard to wrap your brain around, the most simple example of superintelligence would be a virtualized or emulated human mind ran on much faster hardware than the brain. Since our neurons activate 7 times slower than the modern microprocessor, this fake brain would be able to effectively think at the speed of light. Although artificial intelligence applies to many of the ethical theories, I chose to feature utilitarianism, deontology, and egoism. Artificial intelligence are created to help humans, which would result in less work for all, which would benefit the majority because of the following shift in jobs, where more white-collar occupations are phased out and more AI-related jobs fill their spots. These jobs would be higher paying, resulting in greater satisfaction on the part of the employee, which is the definition of utilitarianism, or doing the best for the majority. For the singularity to happen, humans' deontological ethics would have had to fail, because for a humanity-destroying AI to come into existence, it would have had to fail in drawing the conclusion that humans should be destroyed because it's what would best benefit the humans. The main reason people are afraid of the singularity is because of the threat of AI egoism, or the AI wanting what's best for itself. to solve some of the ethical dilemmas brought up by artificial intelligence. First, I'd like to look at where artificial intelligence can be currently improved. The conceptual limitations of our understanding of actual intelligence only extend so far. So in terms of strong AI, which should be able to rival a human in ability, we need a framework to accurately model neurons and their interactions. This disconnect can be shown at an even smaller level in an open source project called OpenWorm, where researchers are trying to replicate the neural network of a worm. And although there was already completely fleshed out diagrams detailing the worm's neural network of around 1,000 cells and 302 neurons, the team has yet to complete the fully functioning AI because of the previous oversimplifications done to the aforementioned diagrams in their initial drafting. Many oversimplifications exist for our previous understanding of the world, and they are posing as an almost invisible barrier that are holding back computer scientists from mapping the brain. Besides the oversimplifications, our hardware isn't powerful enough yet to emulate a human brain, so even if we knew how to do it, we still wouldn't have the tech to make it function. There isn't much that can be done in terms of accelerating hardware changes besides investing more into the industry. As for the singularity thesis, AI researchers and scientists are trying their best to code intrinsically friendly AI. However, there isn't much of a governmental body that has made regulation in hopes of solving the control problem. The control problem is simply a question stating, what prior precautions can the programmers take to successfully prevent the superintelligence from catastrophically misbehaving? Going forward, governments should take the risk of the singularity seriously, or at least with a grain of salt, instead of doing nothing about it. However, the skepticism is valid due to general AI not being in existence yet. In conclusion, we are only at the stage of narrow AI, or artificial intelligence, currently, and will be for some time, which will probably be multiple decades. Artificial intelligence can take your jobs, whether it is narrow or general, and the application of jobs that AI can be used in will only widen as time progresses. Finally, the artificial intelligence will fundamentally change the world, and it already has revolutionized so many things that we have today. thank you for tuning in. I hope that you were able to learn a thing or two about AI today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.